What is going on, y'all? Welcome to Joel Friday TV. I am Joel Friday. Welcome to the show. A few announcements before we get started. Hit that like button, smack it. Lay the smack down, like, subscribe, and share button. Tell your peoples about the show so we get the subscribers up in the message. I'll do it now. Help a brother out. As you guys know, we are live Monday through Thursday at 11 a.m. Pacific time on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Punchy.tv. By the way, we were down on Facebook for a couple episodes. I fixed the problem. We are back up on Facebook. So any of my Facebook peeps that moved from Facebook and went to YouTube or Instagram, we are back on Facebook, so you can go back to your home. Back to your home on Facebook and watch the show. If for whatever reason you have a question or comment, you can call in at 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773, and we can get into whatever you want to get into. Anything, we can get into it. All right. If for whatever reason you can't call in either and you have a question or comment, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/JoelFridayTV, send your question or comments there, or go directly to the YouTube live chat, hit the super chat button, send your question or comments there as well, and I'll read them live on air. All right. What is today? Today is the day. What day is it? Tuesday. What is Tuesday? True Crime Tuesday. True Crime Tuesday. We getting into it. Guys, we're going to jump right into it. I do want to first say thank you guys for tuning in yesterday to my 300 episode. We had JLP on the show. We played a little game. Man, it was fun. We were live. We were cracking up. I can't even edit the videos. I'll be cracking up the whole time in the office. All my coworkers looking at me like, what he laughing so hard at? I'm over here cracking up trying to edit the videos, the clips. It was amazing. And thank you guys for supporting, watching, tuning in. It was a fun one. So make sure you guys check out yesterday's episode featuring Jesse Lee Peterson, the whole Punchy crew pretty much, and Derek as well. Let's get right into it. Today's episode. I gotta get to this, okay? I wanted to talk a little bit about drugged by your own will, okay? I want to talk about this because I realized that every drug that you do has its own illusion to it, right? A distorted truth, right? It has an illusion designed to deceive, right? But it doesn't seem that way. And I'm going to tell you why. The main drugs, the most popular drugs that we all know, and maybe love, the top ones, the most popular ones are the ones that Satan chose specifically to be the popular ones. Why? Because these specific drugs I'm going to break down to you are the ones that are perceived as love, right? First one, sex, right? Sorry, Hake, I had to say the whole word because I had to make a point here, right? Sex is one of the drugs that Satan uses to trick you in an illusion. Why? Because most people, and when I say most, I ain't lying, people think that sex is love, right? That it means something, that it's special, right? So even in marriage, right, they say that it's a special thing. Sex is love. It's from God. It's normal. It's natural. People say these things, right? And that's exactly how the enemy likes it, because that way you're not able to be honest about what it is. But I'm going to tell you where the illusion comes in. And everybody can relate. Maybe. Or maybe not. But what the illusion of sex, what sex brings is that it distorts the way you look at somebody, right? You can't see it clear. It goes from like wanting to, I don't know, give a genuine compliment or to, let's just say, serve another person, for lack of a better word, to wanting to possess, control, right? Take advantage of, devour, right? It just changes your lens and makes you want to take, right? And that's the most popular one. And that was probably the most obvious one. People know that. People know that that's their behavior, right? It makes you look at people different. Also, if you think about body parts, they're really disgusting, right? The functions that we use these body parts for is pretty disgusting. But the illusion of sex deceives us to believe it's attractive and we want something from it and we want to possess it and we want to exploit it and we want to take advantage of it, right? That's the illusion of the drug sex. The second one, okay? The second one is, and this is going to connect to a story here that I'm going to bring. I'm going to share with you guys. The second one, weed. The second drug that the devil uses, weed, right? Why does he use that one? Because what do people say about it? It's natural. It comes from the earth. It's God's plant. It's God's drug. Exactly how the enemy likes it. But let me explain to you about weed, okay? Let me explain to y'all about some weed. So back in the day, in my early 20s, I used to smoke recreationally with my friends. I never really got deep into it because weed in my brain never really connected, it never really clicked. It was always problematic, right? It would make me overthink. It would make me be weird, right? But when I was with my friends and we would do it, we would laugh and eat a lot, eat snacks, and it would be like a fun little experience. But I couldn't do it on my own because it would make me, I don't know, paranoid and weird stuff, right? It'll make my mind race. So when I decided I was going to stop smoking, it was easy for me because I never really was into it anyway. So I went 12 years, probably like 12 years or more, not touching a single weed, not looking at a weed and having no desire for, no temptation at all for a weed, right? And recently, not too long ago, before I met Lil C, okay, I was around a friend, and a friend that I know had some, and we were just hanging out, and I was thinking, like, what would it be like if I had this being born again, right? You know, like being able to see, like, what would that be like? I wonder what that experience would be like, right? And we were just hanging out. We weren't doing nothing. It was a Saturday. I had nothing to do. So I'm like, you know, we can hang out, have a little fun. So I smoked. Lord have mercy. And I told myself, I was like, I'm just going to do a little bit because, like, I haven't done it in so long, and like I'm not trying to be out here acting crazy, looking crazy. So I took a little bit, and I forgot that it creeps up on you. So I'm like, I don't feel nothing. So I took a little bit more. And next thing I know, I'm high as all can be. So I don't think I ever in my whole life been this high before. I was so high, I couldn't comprehend nothing. It was like, and like, my friend kept asking me questions, and every time I'm not telling you guys, I'm not trying to make this story more dramatic. I'm not trying to make a scene, nothing. Every time that my friend would ask me a question, as he's asking the question, I would get 1,000 thoughts, right? And each word that he was saying was sparking like a new conversation, a new rabbit hole to go into, right? And I could see that when I tell you guys I was high. And every time he would talk, I would like see it right in front. And then I would like start thinking about a certain thing he said, right? But then I get lost in this rabbit hole about it. And meanwhile, he's still talking to me. And then I'm not even comprehending his whole sentence. I'm just going down this rabbit hole. That's what it was like. And I was thinking like, this is so insane. I remember, and I kept saying that. I'm like, this is crazy. I don't understand this. And then this is where it really was crazy. This is where I really was like, I'm done. I realized that I started to think that everything became a conspiracy. Okay? Everything turned into a conspiracy. But to me, in the moment, it felt so real, right? But everything turned into a conspiracy. It was like, because like I was comfortable with this friend. I know this friend, so I can trust them. But in my mind, it went to this person set me up, right? It set me up to get high. They lied to me, and this is a trick to get me to do something, right? It was all conspiracy. And then the conspiracies kept lining up, right? And then I was like, this is so crazy. Luckily, I was aware of what was going on, and I wasn't believing them, but I also wasn't doubting it either. I was like, is this true? Is this a conspiracy right now? Is he plotting right now on my life? Right? But I wasn't like going with them. I was just watching them, right? And they just kept popping up throughout the day, just certain conspiracies. And I was like, this is so crazy. And then eventually the high started to come down, and then we started to laugh and stuff like that. And then it was more like regular. And then eventually it left. But I realized, for one, it's not my thing. It's not my thing. It never was, and then it just not my thing. But what I realized is that what weed does is the illusion is like a scheme. It's trying to get you to believe things that aren't there. And I'm speaking from my experience. And this is why I believe that conspiracy theories seem so true to most people, because they were probably high when they had them. You know what I mean? And the lie makes so much sense in the head. The conspiracy makes so much sense in the head, and it has so much like seemingly evidence to back it up, but it's just not true. Because when I was no longer on the high the next day, I could see that my friend I was with normally and realize that they didn't have no conspiracy to plot against me. You know what I mean? But it seemed so clear in my mind while I was high that that's what it was doing. So the weed literally created an illusion to deceive me. And I think that's why people be so deep in these weird conspiracies. Some conspiracies make sense. Some are true, right? But when people get in these deep things, I think weed is an influence. Honestly. So that was that. And moving on. Another drug that creates its own illusion is chasing dreams. Okay? Chasing dreams. Man, that's probably one of the biggest ones. Because again, the enemy tells you that chasing dreams is of God. You're going after what you love to do, and you're gonna make your fantasy a reality, and life is gonna be so much better and all this stuff. Satan uses that one because you believe it to be from God. And what I realized is that that also creates an illusion, because what it's telling you is what the future is gonna look like, how you're gonna feel in the future, what the future might be, making you believe that's what's going to bring you peace, making you believe that's what's going to bring you happiness, and it does not. It does not. Y'all heard Will Smith say it don't bring him. He had everything. From the mouth of Will Smith. Probably, if not the most, one of the most popular entertainers in the world. Maybe even dead or alive. Maybe dead or alive. Top 5 most popular entertainers in the world. He said, money and fame ain't it. You heard him say it. Maybe I'll play it later. The clip. Chasing the dreams. And because you're so set on chasing those dreams, you'll do anything to have them. And I want to share a little clip from that. This is not Will Smith, but this is from PBD Podcast. Terrence Howard explains what happens when you lose your man card chasing success over integrity. Here we go.
You come into this world as a man one time. You give up that right for anything, for fear of being hurt, fear of somebody doing something, for wanting to gain something. When you give up that man card right, you lose some spiritual energy that has always been pushing through. Like if a woman gives up her womanly right of being a mother and taking care of her family and do all those things, when you give up those things, but when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing. Get punked out and pimped out by some greater desire. You shouldn't have a greater desire than being a man. So I believe that's a big problem with a lot of the actors out there because they get fluid. And next thing you know, once you go fluid, it's gone. You don't have any foundation to pull yourself back from. So maintain your man card, no matter what.
And it's hard to stay on track when you believe so strongly in this dream, right? You believe so strongly into it, but so that you're willing to do anything to sacrifice for it. Chasing a dream is a drug too. It don't tell you that, but that's a drug too, chasing a dream, right? Because you want it more than what you want that is right? You want it more than morals or your integrity. And this is why the predators in the industry, right, or of the world, these entertainers, these executives, these people high up who are protected by their money and their influence and their status to where they can do criminal activity low key and get away with it, though people watch and though people see, because they have this false sense of power, right? But all the truth comes to light. That's why all these people are getting caught up, right? Truth always comes to light, especially to those who stay in the dark and don't repent and admit with themselves and to God that their lives are out of control. It'll be revealed on a mass scale. But that's why the predators drug people. That's why these people who go to these big entertainment parties, they're drugging them. Why? Because the drug makes you willfully choose to partake in these activities, right? They use your will against you. Isn't that crazy? What the? They use your will against you, right? Because these drugs, what they do is that you're conscious, well, I guess sometimes you're conscious, but you're conscious, but your desires and your impulses become so strong that even though you may not, you can see, you're conscious, you're awake, those impulses are so strong that you just give into them, right? The temptation takes over, right? That's why they slip drugs into your drink. That's why they have you take these pills and all that stuff, because they want to be able to influence you in such a way to get you loose, right? And then you're influenced to do these crazy things. But it's the drugs. The drugs will tell you all kinds of things. This is good. This feels so nice. You know what I mean? So that's how they do it with the drugs. And another one. And another one, seeking another drug that the devil. When I listen, this is probably like top two drugs. Okay, seeking information. Information is probably one of the biggest drugs you could ever take in your life. Seeking information. Why? Because the information doesn't have to be true, but it puffs up your ego, right? It puffs up your ego. It fills your head with information. And information ain't wisdom. We ain't talking about wisdom. We just talking about information. And information is what got the blacks. Information is what got the blacks, right? Brainwashing. Because what it did was put a narrative, right? Placed a narrative in a community. And what that narrative did, right? What that information did was feed the anger, right? It just feeds your anger. And now what it's doing is that anger that you're feeling gives you this false sense of feel good, power, strength, right? Revenge. So you end up pointing the finger, right? Painting yourself as a victim, blaming the white man or blaming the system or all this stuff, all based off of propaganda, all based off of false information, right? And even if the information given is not false, even if the information given has truth in it, information still is not wisdom, right? So you have this information, but you don't have the full picture. You don't understand the picture, right? And I'll give you a perfect example. Slavery, right? That's the information. Oh, blacks were enslaved. That's the information that's given, right? What does the mind do when anger is involved? Oh, they were tortured and da-da-da. And not to say that didn't happen, but the mind, the imagination takes it to a whole different place, right? Because all it has is information. Now you get creative. The devil get creative. Oh, that there were. And still to this day, this is the same, da-da-da, da-da-da. All based off of information. Not wisdom. Not understanding. Not actually being there, not actually seeing what was going on, not actually knowing what was going on, not actually understanding what got to that place, not understanding nothing, just information. That's what got the blacks jacked up. And that's what all these people in politics, these red pill folks, conservatives, the Democrats, all these people in politics, that's why they're all jacked up. Information. Not wisdom, information. And it just deceives you. It just deceives you. You don't know left from right, up or down, but you think you know because you intellectually have this knowledge, right? And your brain is filled with all this knowledge, and now you're smarter. That's true. You're smart. You can spew something you read real quick, right? You got the vocabulary of a genius, right? But you have no understanding. You have no awareness, no conscious, no insight. So you just spew lies. And that's what happened to the blacks. They just believe in lies for so many years and believe in a false narrative. And they know it though too. That's the thing. People know when they're lying. People know when they're believing these lies, but to admit it doesn't serve them, right? They don't think it'll serve them. So they rather stick with the lie, the false information put out there. Am I lying or am I making sense? Let me know. Call in 888-775-3773. If I'm lying, you can call in. You can tell me and prove me wrong. And listen, I'm the first to admit it. If I'm incorrect about something and I see it, then I'm the first to admit it. Hey, you were right. I was tripping. That makes sense. I'll be the first to admit it, but that's what happens to the blacks. Deep ingrained brainwashing for years and years and years, denial for years and years and years, anger for years and years and years and years. And they spread it to each other. They paint the picture, they paint the narrative, when in all reality, regardless of what's going on, all people can overcome. All people can overcome the situation. All people can be better. All people can quote unquote make it. All people can quote unquote have success. You know what I'm saying? So drugs is our worst enemy. And drugs come in many forms. And I ain't telling you to stop. Right? Because, you know, I ain't telling you to stop whatever drug. Let's say you're on a drug, doing a drug, stuff like that. Right? I ain't telling you to stop. I'm just telling you to just know. Just know that all drugs come with an illusion attached to it to make you see something that is not there. What a mess. I'm going to check these super chats real quick, and then I will get to the calls. I shall get to the calls. 888-775-3773, 888-775-3773. Okay, let me check. So, Harmony Grits with the super chat from yesterday. Full house. Responding to all the guests we had here on the JFTV podcast. Everybody was up in here yesterday. Made stuff. Chris said happy 300th, Joel. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. Linian Chin, I'm just helping your prancing fund. You can choose to ignore it, nor what you don't understand. I am black and slow and yellow. Right on, Linian. Appreciate it and appreciate the support all the time, man. Gregatron, congratulations on 300 episode. You'll have 3 million before you know it. That's right, Gregatron. Putting out there in the universe. Thank you, Gregatron. Let me just check buy me a coffee here. What a mess. Camilla Knudsen says, hey Joel, and this is over here on Buy Me a Coffee. Hey Joel, love your show. I laughed so hard the other day with your pet turtle story. Keep up the great work. Right on, Camilla. Mind you, I didn't make none of that up. Some people say, oh, he made it. I made none of that up. That was a true story. Pete was flipping in the air. Because we were just trying to send him home, y'all. We weren't throwing him with malice. We had well-meaning, good intentions when we put him in the ocean, even though he's not an ocean turtle. He's a freshwater turtle. I didn't know that. But guess what? It worked out because he crawled right back out. And we put him over there in the sewer. And now he with Donatello, Michelangelo, and his brothers. You know what I'm saying? So it all worked out for the best. Okay? Oh man. I'm gonna come back to, because this one's a long super chat, so I'm gonna come back to that one. N Heat says, are those THC worms, referring to the worms yesterday? No, they were just straight gummy worms. No THC in them worms. Okay. All right. Thank you, y'all. I appreciate it. And then I'll get back to the last couple of super chats there after I get to this phone call because those seem pretty long. Let me go to Justin out of Fullerton. Justin, Fullerton, California. Welcome to the show. You're on the air.
Hey, thanks for taking my call. Joel, I just wanted to, because what I hear you talking about between like love or like lust, I also wanted to talk about some kind of, I'm trying to phrase it in a succinct question, but about self-love, because when we naturally project that out, then that's what we, truly desire internally. So my question to you is how might we be able to cultivate that type of deep sense of self-love, so that it naturally projects outwardly of what we truly desire internally, a reciprocal love from those around us.
The question is, how do you seek that? How do you find that?
Yeah, how might we create that? So that we can't be taken advantage of.
Right. We have to return to God, and we have to continue to seek out His will. And over time, He will renew the mind. And we can't renew the mind of ourselves. He has to renew the mind for us, meaning once we turn towards Him and walk towards Him, He'll start to renew our mind and change our minds over. And then eventually the love will start to make more sense. It'll start to, because what it is, it's all the bad habits of our lives, all the lies that we're believing into, the judgment and everything is just like piled on top of the spirit within. And once we get rid of all that judgment is when life starts to become more clear. Are you there?
So that's very deep, very deep. The thing I struggle with, I guess, is making judgments in almost all things.
Yeah. And that's the biggest quote unquote sin that we commit is, or that Satan deceives us with, is judgment, because what we're doing is we're identifying with right and wrong as if we know it, and we don't know it, right? When we look at somebody as right or wrong, then we either feel good or bad, and what that is doing is creating conflict within ourselves. So we are to learn how to overcome judgment, and when we do that, then we're on our way.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah,
thanks. I appreciate your insight. Yeah, I just I see a lot of people that are gravitating, whether they're the actors or the performers. They're gravitating towards this kind of world, and not just Hollywood, but this kind of like how everybody wants to be important. So there's like a certain kind of a cult out there that kind of encourages people to not have self-love, and therefore that thing that they lack, that they never even learn how to create that to give to other people. So I know for me, the way I check judgment is I try to look at like, have I ever been there before, and have I ever went through that? And then that kind of makes me a little bit more like empathetic,
Yeah.
But I still struggle with it.
Yeah, a little more understanding to what the person might be going through, type of thing, is what you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No,
So
no, go ahead.
Yeah, so like when I have more mercy for me, I'm able to, in that same measurement, do it to other people. So I always look to God for like that kind of, like I don't deserve anything, that I was forgiven. So I definitely want to be able to forgive people around me.
Yeah, there's things that I do or I've done where I think like, man, if somebody saw that at face value, they would for sure judge it. But I know within myself that the reasons, the cause and effect of that, right? And like you're saying, that same understanding, we have to learn to give that to others, or at least to understand that there is a story, even if we don't quite see it in the moment.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Interesting.
All right.
Interesting. Just are you a first time caller?
No, I've called before. No, I've
okay.
listened for a couple of years.
Right,
you're awesome. I appreciate you. Have a good Tuesday.
Thank
Talk to you later.
All right, Justin. Thanks, man. Call me again. Nice. One more point I want to make really quick. and then I'll get to that. I'll get back to some other super chats. Is when I tell y'all the judgment thing, y'all be on my neck about when I say there's no right and wrong, right? At least we don't know it intellectually. We don't know it, and it doesn't exist because of the fact that knowing right and wrong is playing God, right? And we are just to be guided. We are just to have faith in him and let him guide us, right? And he'll show us what we need to do in the moment. But when I say that, like, y'all be like, oh, it's not true. It's not real. Look at that over there. Isn't that wrong? Look at that. That's wrong. But it's only wrong when you perceive it that way, because what you're seeing is on the physical. It's shallow. It's judgment. Judgment is shallow. All you're doing is seeing what you're seeing, right? This person just got beat up, right? Why did they get beat up? That's so sad. Why would he just beat him up like that? That is so sad, right? It's a shallow perspective because you don't know what led up to that. You don't know the story. You don't know what's driving the person, right? You don't know what got them there. You don't know what they're believing into. We don't know the stuff. So I'm not saying I don't judge either. I'm just saying what I'm realizing about judgment is just a lie, right? There's no love in that. There's no love in it. You can't even be of service to somebody if you're judging them, right? Because what you're doing is you're looking down upon them, and you don't have to justify their actions. You don't have to accept their behavior, what they're doing, right? You don't have to accept that and congratulate it, and you can even rebuke it, but you are not to judge it. You are not to judge the person. You are not to look at them negatively, as hard as that may be, but it's the same eye that's looking negatively at evil that is evil. You know? You can see evil and not react to it, but still see it, right? Without judging it as right or wrong. You're just seeing it. What we want understanding. That's what we want. We want understanding. Because understanding knows how to navigate through life. Understanding knows how to get through things, right? It understands how to approach situations, right? But judgment is just a thrill to make us feel good. Just make us feel good. It makes us feel good at pointing at somebody who's doing quote unquote wrong, and you get to judge them and you can feel good about it, right? Because your life sucks. That's what it is. That's why we judge, because our life is not completely at peace. I'll speak for myself. My life will not always completely at peace. So when I see something, my first reaction is to judge it because I want the little thrill that comes from it. You know what I'm saying? It's a little thrill. But that's what I'm saying. I'm not saying stop doing it because you live your own life. I'm just saying just know. Just know what's going on. And if you want to keep doing it, then that's our own decisions to make. But I'm just saying just know. Know what I'm saying? Aaron G says, does seeking the truth mean to wait for it to be revealed? Oh, Aaron G. Does seeking the truth mean to wait for it to be revealed? Yes. Because what you're doing when you're waiting is that you're just having faith that it will be revealed. You know what I mean? You're just waiting on God to guide you and lead you. And then he will reveal it. When you're chasing, that's just for our own ego fulfillment, right? It's control. It's a false sense of control. We want salvation now. We want peace now, right? So the faster we run, the quicker we'll get there. But that's not how God works. We'll be running forever. Look at the celebrities, running forever, constantly running, never finding, running and running and running, achieving things, but never finding what they're looking for. Is because they don't stop and surrender. And that's why we're fortunate that we're hearing the message from Bond. We're fortunate that we're hearing the message, in general. Because what these celebrities, I grew up jealous of these celebrities. Like, man, I wish I could be like them. And I was trying to be like them, trying to have all those things. Give me some of that money. Give me that car. Give me that fame. Man, I wanted the fame, right? I wanted the fame. And but it never happened for me. But I realized in my adult years that all the celebrities that get to have all these things that I thought I wanted and I was jealous of are desperately wishing to have the things that you and I are hearing. You know what I mean? Desperately wishing to know God, get to know God, to overcome, to feel free, to find peace, to find what real love is, right? They're desperately looking for that. Meanwhile, we're here learning it. So there's nothing to be jealous about. I had to realize that too in my life. Nothing to be jealous about. They ain't happy. With that being said, let me read this super chat here. Camilla. Oh no, I read hers already. Thank you, Camilla. Eric, with a few donuts on Buy Me a Coffee, says the masculine and the feminine are opposites. When women become promiscuous, it weakens men. When women are virtuous, it strengthens men. Tommy isn't acknowledging that women have responsibility to protect their virtue. Today's women more promiscuous than any time in the history of the world. Women's virtue gives men the strength to go to war, to work the dirty jobs, to protect and provide for their families. Today's women aren't fulfilling their roles. Man. How do I even add? I want to add to that really quick is that a man is proud when, let's say, his wife or his girlfriend respects him, right? A man it fuels the man to be respected. And I don't mean like in an ego way. I mean that like it gives him a sense of purpose when he's respected by his wife or his children or whatever the case is. Because what they're doing is they're trusting him and giving him the permission, and I know he doesn't need it, but giving him the permission to be the provider. And we appreciate that. And then we go out and do it without, it doesn't, without the burden, right? We're happy to do it because we know that we're being entrusted to do it. And when we come home, the wife or the children are there respecting us for what we do. They're appreciating it. They're grateful. And it's more so just because they know their roles, right? The women know their roles. And when she knows her role, she can't help but appreciate you for doing your part, and she's going to take care of you. The man take care of the woman, and the woman will take care of the man. And that's how it ought to be, right? And they're constantly getting fuel from each other, and not in an ego way. It's just love. The love is growing. And now I sound crazy. Now I'm sounding wacky. But it's true, right? You grow in that love because both of you guys are in your roles and it don't have to be perfect. It don't have to be perfect, but when you know that there's no competition, right? Man, I dated for many years of my life, especially being born again, and always coming across competition. And the ladies mean well. They're just lost trying to find it, just like all of us, mostly lost trying to find it. But always facing competition. It was always competition. Like when I would do something that was like helpful or whatever, it was like the ladies had to try to one me up, right? Like they couldn't let me have that, right? They couldn't just give me the credit for doing something for them that was manly, right? They had to also be portrayed as strong as well. It was just competition. I was like, what the, right? And when I would just naturally just display just like confidence or just like assurance, they would feel threatened in some situation. And that was an issue too, because it was now they have to try to puff their chest out. You don't get to talk out to me. And I was like, man, I can't. But I'm grateful that I was able to see that because it allowed me not to go after those ladies, right? Not to pursue them. But when you come across somebody who means well and is not in competition with you because they don't see for what? And then you know you're getting somewhere. So, yeah. The men's have a role and the women's have a role. And just to make it easier on the ladies, I ain't making this up, but the women's role is meant to ultimately follow God, find God, overcome, but their purpose is to be a helper to the man. It's not to be a leader. It's not meant to be a leader. It's just not designed that way. And maybe that sounds bad. I'll find a new way to rephrase it. What up, man? All right, y'all. I'm coming up on the end here. Let me see. I'm gonna leave you guys with this last thing. I'm gonna leave you guys with this last thing here. If you guys, just in case you guys didn't see it yesterday on the episode, I just want to play this for you guys real quick. Here we go. This is from Drink Champs. Will Smith on Drink Champs talking about success. Such a great point. Here we go.
I wish that everybody could have everything they dream.
Right.
To realize that that's not it.
Right.
You know, I've said before, like people talk about rock bottom, that when you hit rock bottom is when you'll make a change.
Talking about drugs?
Yeah, like drugs. People say drugs and rock bottom. In life. Yeah, rock bottom in life.
Right.
Yeah, but yeah, it is like people say it in AA talking about rock bottom. Mm-hmm. But there's a corresponding place that I call cliff top, right?
Like you could be too high.
Where you get so high that you realize literally none of the stuff can make you happy. Right. After you can get to the end of the material world. You get to the end of money. You get to the end of sex. You get to the end of fame. You have so much, and then you like go off of a cliff into the same kind of abyss that you'd be scared of slipping into at rock bottom.
Facts, Will, facts. Factual stuff. That just hit home for me because I spent my whole life trying to be like a Will Smith or like one of them rock star celebrities. That was my whole life. So that just hit home for me. I was like, man, that's deep. And then the last one here, and then I'm ending, and American Anchor Baby's coming in, is where Will Smith talks about what people are really looking for and what really matters in life. Here we go.
The only thing that's left, the same thing at rock bottom, the only thing that's left at cliff top is you have to find what you're actually looking for, and what you're actually looking for is you. You're looking for you. You're running around, right? When you like a woman and you like being with a woman, it's because you like how you feel.
Right.
You like what's happening inside of you. When you have money, it's like, yeah, it's cool to buy things, but it's not the money. You like how you feel inside. Right. It's unleashing a feeling inside. And what you have to learn how to do is generate that feeling without anything external. You have to learn how to like you so much that you like being alive so much that you bring positive energy that's not generated by stuff, right? Because stuff is coming and going.
Right.
Like people are coming and going. Everything you have and everybody you love is going to rise and fall in your life. The place that we have to find is a spiritual place where we are good with us. We trust us. I trust myself. I trust God, and I trust life that whatever happens, I'm going to make happy out of it. I don't need specific things to happen.
Facts. All right, y'all. I got to end. American Anchor Baby coming in right now. Make sure you guys don't miss his show. 5 minutes, maybe 6 minutes. He'll be live on YouTube coming up next on my show, so make sure you guys check him out. Also, what else? Joel Friday TV across the board, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Watch, share, like, comment, and all that good stuff. I appreciate you guys, the calls, the super chats, the support across the board, the chats. Y'all are amazing. Until next time, I gotta go, y'all. I'll see ya. Bye.